Hello, welcome to the Holistic Health Detective. So, today I'm going to do a podcast about the origin or how I got started with the Holistic Medical Centre because I think it's a very funny story. And in previous podcasts, I've talked about what inspired me, like my interest or my passion, if you like, of why I wanted to create this integrative medical centre as opposed to a multidisciplinary clinic where you really integrated the best of nutrition and with the best of general practice family medicine. So this story is a little different. It's about how the clinic actually got the doors open, which was a bit of a journey. So it started with the fact that I decided, actually, it was a decision that I'm going to absolutely bring this clinic into existence no matter what. And I sold my house to do that. And I had the money sitting there and started working on business plans. And I got contacted by a GP who had a clinic and he was closing it down. So he called me to see if I wanted to buy any equipment from his clinic that he was shutting down. And he was basically a GP who was also a homeopath and he did a lot of palliative work. So I said, no, I would really like to buy your Section 88s. So a Section 88, we don't have those anymore, but back in the day, there was these contracts that you would have or a GP would have with the district health board or the local district health board, which is Auckland. So Auckland District Health Board, and that would allow you to have one contract, would allow you to have one full-time equivalent GP in a location. You couldn't just set up anywhere. It had to be assigned to a suburb. And so he had two. He had two of these, and they were assigned to the suburb of Mount Albert. You couldn't move them unless you got permission, like into another practice or another clinic, unless you got permission from the district health board. And it could only be within a 3-kilometre radius. We don't have anything like those restrictions these days, but we had those then. So I said, I'd like to buy Section 88s. And he said, no. I mean, I couldn't really sell the business. I couldn't find someone to take it over. So most of the patients have picked up their files, paper files back in those days. And so no, So I said, okay, that's fine. And I gave him a few days and I called back and asked again. I said, look, I've got the money. And he said, no. It was just before Christmas. And so then a few days later, he called me back and he said, oh, okay, let's do it. So I said, fine, let's do it. So I paid him and it was the 22nd of December, I remember very well. And I didn't have a clinic to move into. He had already leased his building out. So I collected all of the remaining equipment that he had, a very, very old computer, the very old sort of telex paper on the printer, and I put it in storage. My family helped me move it all, and a few days before Christmas, I put it into storage, and then the game was on to find a location. So the thing with these Section 88s is they have to be active, and if they're not active for 6 months, they lapse, and then they're worth nothing. They basically expire. So I had to get up and running and see patients within 6 months, or my money would be gone. So the game was on. Not many places available through the Christmas period. But I went to every real estate agent. I went to open homes. I was looking at rental properties, looking at lease properties. I was offering domestic landlords commercial leases to use the space. I knocking on doors and I just kept going and I didn't find anything, and it was getting closer and closer. And I finally found this one property in a suburb called Point Chevalier on Point Chevalier Road. And it was an elderly woman, Bulma, that was selling. And I said, I'm really, really keen. I want to buy it. And it was really original, needed a lot of work, but it was a nice bungalow. So I said, I want to buy it. She said, well, you're a backup offer, actually. I've already got like a teen mental health clinic that I've made an offer, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go through, so you'd be the backup offer. So I said, fine, I'll put in a backup offer. She said, oh yeah, but I'm not going to sign it. I'll just, wait and see what happens with these guys. So I said, fine. So pretty disappointed. Wasn't fine inside, but yeah. And a few weeks later, I pulled up literally right outside this building because I was looking at a building across the road. And there was Wilma hammering up her for sale sign again. So I was pretty excited. Never moved so fast. And I said, oh, you can take the sign down because I'm going to buy this place. She said, okay, that's fine. I'm not taking the sign down, but that's fine. So I went to my bank with my business plan, and they said no. So I said, okay, fine. And they said no on unconditional day. So I went to another bank. And then, as if you've ever had to extend a unconditional date, it's a bit of cost there with lawyers and stuff to negotiate that. So we got an extension. I went to another bank, and they said no, unconditional date, same thing. So I went to the third bank, and they said no, unconditional date, something like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It had to be done by 4. And Wilma had said, this is it, not giving you another extension, so you get the money or it's all over. So I was like, okay, fine. So when the bank said no, I said, well, I'm coming down. And I went into the business banking office, and I sat there. I was, I'm not leaving until you see me. And so, and so they saw me. They were grumpy, but they saw me, and and the guy went away, came back, and he said, fine, we will do it, but we're giving you, not giving you 25,000. So it was 25,000 short. And I said, oh, but I need it. They said, no, final offer. That's it. And I had okay, I've got about an hour before expiry of my extension. So I called Wilma and I said, can you meet me down to the place? And she did. And I said, look, here's the thing. I can do it, but I'm 25,000 short. But you know what? If you leave that equity in there, and I'll get a valuation. I'll do some renovations. I'll get a valuation post renovations, and I will do a second drawdown, pay you out, and we're done. If you just leave it in there for 3 months, and I'll pay you interest. So she called her lawyer. Her lawyer said, absolutely not. I called my lawyer. My lawyer said, absolutely not. It's just far too risky. My strong advice, both those lawyers. So I said to Wilma, well, my lawyer says no. She said, well, yeah, my lawyer said no too. But you know what? Us women have got to stick together. That's what she said. And so we wrote a contract, basically an IOU on a piece of paper on the hood of my car, on the bonnet of my car. We both signed it, shook hands, and that was it. I had some money I'd lent out. I got that money back. I did the renovations. The day I actually picked up the keys and actually confronted the house, it was so dirty. I couldn't believe I'm like, what have I done? Oh my God, am I going to get this? Anyway, so a lot of cleaning, a lot of scraping, lifting the carpets. There was no jib. It was just old, about 15 layers of wallpaper. Had to be pulled down, jibbed and stopped and painted, and the outside painted, etc. So yeah, I managed to do it all on a shoestring budget, and got the doors open and saw the first patient within 6 months. Just an absolute miracle. But I tell you what, that first day was insane. I was so happy because it was like, this finally has come into existence. And just because I said so, just because of my determination. And it was despite the, people who said it couldn't be done, despite the kind of grumpy people along the way, just kind of kept going and staying cheerful about it. And there it was. It was so much fun because I deeply, deeply believed in that clinic and its purpose and its ability by having this really unique model to help people. So those are the doors open. There's a bit more. There's of the early days. That would be a story for another day. But I really wanted to share that story because I've heard other people's stories of how they just persevered and didn't stop no matter what and got there in the end. And I love those stories. I do love them. So I thought you might enjoy that story and it might inspire other people to keep going and not giving up because perseverance pays off if you keep going. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a very happy, healthy day.